Hey, I'm Paulo Abrera and welcome to Green Living. Now, growing crops or ornamental plants is always a bit of a challenge for us who live in the city. Aside from the lack of space, the lack of soil, let's face it, most of us who grew up in urban areas know very little about how to care for these plants. Well, I have found two groups that are making urban farming a bit more of an easier reality for all of us. The first is one of the top universities in the country who have turned their materials recovery facility into an urban farm. The other, a soilless farm that grows all the leafy greens for all of our salad needs. In this concrete jungle where we live in, soil and space for planting are not easy commodities to come by. So people have to get creative and innovative in trying to grow their own food. Who would have thought that in the city you would find this soilless farm tucked inside a container building? Aaron?
Yeah, hi,
How you
Paulo.
doing? How you doing?
Welcome to the farm.
Okay, when somebody said that we're going to come out to visit a farm, an empty lot like this is the last place I thought a farm would be at.
Yeah, that's what most people say when they come and visit.
All right, now before we talk about the farm itself, let's talk about your background. How did you get into farming?
I'm actually accounting background.
Okay.
And my partners, my cousin who's the one that thought of this whole idea is a computer engineer.
Okay.
And my other partner is a computer scientist.
All right, so nowhere amongst you guys is the word or the job farmer. How did you guys end up with
Which is
doing
really
what you
funny.
do?
Hydroponics has been around for quite some time.
Okay.
And we noticed that no one has brought it really here in the Philippines. And even more so, indoor hydroponic farming.
Okay.
And we went around and we asked restaurants what's their main concern about products.
Yeah.
And they said there's a lot of issues with transportation of the product.
Yeah.
They're losing about 40% of their crop to transportation. If we can place the farm closer to the restaurants or the people that need the product, then maybe that'll make everything better.
Okay.
There is more cost, of course, to running an indoor farm, but since there's less wastage,
It sort of evens out,
yeah,
doesn't it?
exactly.
Okay, you guys are calling yourself Next Level. What is Next Level all about?
It started with Next Level Academy,
Okay.
which is a school. They teach courses there that aren't taught in universities. And then Next Level Farms came in, something that is more sustainable because it's indoor farming,
Right.
and you only need power. Weather doesn't affect it.
Right.
And there's also Next Level Water. But basically it's desalinization, so we're working with that as well.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys are addressing a lot of concerns here.
Yes.
Now we're talking about Next Level Hydroponics. I have a vague idea of what hydroponics is all about, but I really want to see what kind of setup you guys have here in the middle of the city. Shall we go?
Oh, sure, yeah, let's
All
go
right.
in.
Hey, look at this.
Yeah. Welcome to our farm.
Oh, now I'm seeing the farm. Now I'm
Yeah,
seeing the
so
green.
it's-
This is amazing
yeah.
stuff. Who would have imagined that in the middle of the city, you can have a setup like this?
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to put this in the city, urban farming. So basically, what we're doing is we're recycling water from our tank. It goes in our whole system, and you can see that our container is kind of angled, so all of the water falls back.
It's flowing down.
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing I noticed, of course, when we opened the door was the blast of cool air.
And the reason for that is because the crops that we're growing here actually prefer the cooler weather.
All right.
We're growing two types of arugula. This is rocket arugula, and we have a bit of wild arugula here. So we noticed it's very hard to grow arugula here in the Philippines,
Yeah.
because they need that consistent weather. A lot of restaurants, they don't have a consistent supply of arugula. And in some of the dishes, the main ingredient is arugula.
Right. I mean, we love arugula, but it's just so hard to get your hands on.
Exactly.
It. Okay.
So we thought, hey, maybe this is something we can grow indoor, and it's something we can consistently deliver at good quality. You can see the root system here.
Right,
So you can
okay.
see that it's all clean, it's all white. It's because there's no soil going through.
Yeah, you could literally pick this off of
Yeah,
there and start
go
chowing
ahead.
down.
I mean, I think this is good. I have to warn you though, our arugula is very strong.
Okay.
And the reason is because that's just the way it's supposed to taste.
All right.
We got someone from Endoron, like
Yeah.
a chef,
Yeah.
to tell us how arugula is supposed to taste.
Okay.
And when he tried this, he was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to taste. That peppery taste.
Oh yeah.
You can see it's
That's
really
a strong.
It's
That's a
potent,
strong
right?
taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain to us how it goes from there to this stage, and how long does it take to get to a good harvestable size?
Okay, so this is called a nursery. It stays in our nursery for about 2 weeks.
All right.
We're trying to prolong that. The longer they are in the nursery, the less time they spend in the main grow area.
Okay.
After about 2 weeks, we put them in net pots, the pots that you see right here. And we put them in the system, and they stay in the system for about 3 weeks, and then they're ready to harvest.
You know, when we first chatted outside, the thing that struck me was the idea of, like you said, a lot of the produce going to waste simply because of the lack of a good logistical setup. You end up with a lot of spoilage and wastage, but with this stuff growing right in the middle of the city, that problem seems to be solved.
Yeah, for sure. So what we do is we only deliver on the day of harvest.
Okay.
So once we come in and harvest, we deliver straight to the restaurant.
Okay.
So they get their produce within like 2 hours of harvest.
It all evens out in the end, like you said. I mean, it's a costlier system to run on one hand, but on the other hand, there's savings to be had in terms of wastage, in terms of transportation.
And in terms of speed of growing.
Okay.
So we're looking about 30% quicker than growing on regular soil.
All right. Is this the future of farming? Is this going to coexist side by side with traditional farming?
You know, one of the things that me and my partners talked about is we don't want to invade in our local farmers. There's no way that our product would really clash with local farmers, because we don't produce like the basic rice or potatoes or carrots that people eat. Most of our products is a specialty product.
Sounds all good, but I'm quite interested to see how it all begins, from the little seedling stage all the way to the mature plant stage that we have over here. And you said it all happens towards that end of the farm.
Yes.
Let's move over there.
Go ahead.
All right, looks like this is where it all happens, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. We have everything here that's needed for quick setup. I have my head grower here, Robin.
Robin,
I'll take us through all of the stuff that we need.
Okay, Robin, talk us through it.
Cool.
So as you might know, we don't use any soil in hydroponics. So we'll start with the growing medium.
All right.
We have rock wool, we have cocoa peat, and we have peat moss. Here we have a sample of rock wool.
Yeah.
And we start with seeds. And yeah, we just put the seeds in one by one. And we add water, and we mix it with some nutrients.
Okay, some nutrients, the important stuff.
Yes.
Plant food, okay. What exactly do you need to get these plants growing?
So the biggest part of the solution is NPK, so nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
All right.
And there's also like some micronutrients that are in there. So we start with making some holes. And
So you use your special stick.
special stick. And yeah, we just put a few in.
We actually seed outside because it's kind of tight in there. We put it in our nursery area. It has a different UV light specification compared to our main. We leave it there for about 2 weeks, and it should sprout after that.
But eventually you will end up with something that looks
like this.
Okay, there you go. How long from this to that, how long are we talking?
This one's about 3 weeks already, so 3 weeks from seed date. As you can see, the roots are now growing out, still in the rock wool.
Okay, so a lot of people are going to say, you guys are championing the cause of hydroponics and the idea that anybody can do it. People are going to say, I don't have an air-conditioned container at home. How am I going to do it at home?
Yeah, this is the Kratky system. So basically, instead of having the NFT where the water's flowing, this one you just put the nutrients. It just the water is just stable inside, and it's good enough to grow non-commercially.
Okay.
So if it's just for a home setup, you can just use this. As you can see here, you just put the pot and put it in there. The root will absorb
the
the
root's
water.
sort of hanging into the solution.
Yeah, and it just sucks the water up.
What better way to understand the impact of hydroponics farming than to speak with one of their loyal customers? All right, well, Brett, let's talk about what you do. Let's talk about the restaurant.
So yes, I have a small dessert bar, is what we like to call it in BGC, called St. Louis, House of Fine Ice Cream and Dessert. Well, we also have quite a surprising range of savory items. So we do savory crepes, baguettes, Reuben sandwiches, things like that, that sort of integrate quite nicely with the sort of evolution of hydroponic farming. Coming from Australia, we're spoilt for choice when it comes for things like agriculture and especially fresh produce. In the Philippines, there wasn't so much of a stable kind of industry for it. And while we do have a lot of great options here, certain elements of what we needed for the restaurant weren't quite there yet. Okay. If a typhoon came through and it wiped out a crop, well, all of a sudden we're without a product. Right. So to have something that is protected from that infestation as well was a big one, where quite often we'd see produce coming through that would be littered with bug bites, all that kind of thing was involved in it as well. Right. So for us, having something that is so close to the city, you know, when we phone through the order for the day, they come in, they harvest, and they bring it straight to us.
All right, so we're not very far from the source. I mean, literally just a couple of seconds away. What have we collected?
So in the bowl, what we have is one of the products we use in our restaurant. They're arugula, which is this guy here. And then there's a blend of small lettuces, which is called mesclun mix.
Right.
So I've got some pine nuts, a little bit of pomelo, and some cherry tomatoes.
Right.
I like to take pomelo. It breaks up nice and easily. Sort of means you get a few chunks of sweetness, a little bit of bitter in there as well, so you do balance out. And then after that, I'm going to do a little sprinkle of pine nuts. These do add sort of a nice kind of nutty flavor throughout it. And then just off the stem here, we're going to do some cherry tomatoes straight in.
Look at that.
I like to keep things simple. A little bit of olive oil just on top. And then finally, once I can get the lid off here, just a little bit of cracked pepper over the top there. We'll just give them a quick mix around to make sure everything's through. And we are good to go.
Okay, this wasn't a crazy preparation here. Like you said, it's really all about the freshness of the ingredients, the flavor coming through, a little bit of everything. I'm gonna give it a try.
Get in there. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a peppery arugula.
Yep.
Nice mix. Brett, it's a delicious mix. Like you said, there's really nothing much to it except the freshness and flavor of the ingredients really coming through. I want to thank you for preparing this very simple salad, but very tasty salad for us.
That's what I like to hear.
I don't want to have it all by myself, so I'm going to call Aaron back. Aaron, come and join us back here. I want to share this salad that Brett tossed for us. Using some of the stuff that you've got growing in the container over here. I don't want to have it all by myself. I wanted to ask you though, what are the future plans? Where do we go from here?
I think what we're gonna do next is when we have the next container, which is coming in about 2 months, we're gonna start doing strawberries.
Okay.
And after strawberries, we want to push tomatoes as well. So you know, some fruity, more fruity crop.
Sounds good. More variety for restaurateurs like Brett over here. Yeah, perfect. All right.
On that note, I'm going to go check where my arugula order's at. I'll leave you guys
Get to
enjoy
it. I'm
that.
going to dig into the salad even more. Thanks a lot, Brett.
Can I try some of this? I actually haven't tried any of it yet. Yeah.
Don't miss it. Good, yeah?
Yeah.
But going soilless is not your only solution. If you have even the littlest bit of space and soil, then the opportunities for plant growth are endless. If you're looking for more than a salad fix, then we've got the UP MRF and their urban garden, which grows enough vegetables for your classic pinakbet and tinola.